in sickness
in sickness
and in health,
and in health,
to love, cherish, and to obey.
Come on now, dog.
We didn't talk about that one in council.
We did talk about that in council. Yes, we did. So you want me to repeat that again? You want to just keep going?
I think we can keep going.
All right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that guy shouldn't go through that. That's what Western men have to put up with. Hello, everyone. This is Edward Reyes, and I'm coming to you from Russia. And today I'm going to talk about the entitlement that many modern Western women have when it comes to whether or not they are entitled to a high value man. And you just saw that. One of the things that modern women don't want to do is be obedient to a man. And what does a high value man want? He wants a woman that is fit, friendly, feminine, cooperative, and submissive. That's what he wants. But today we're going to explore that word, entitlement. And we're also going to look at Russian women and see if they feel that they are entitled to a high value man. I do want to say this though. Coming from a Latino family, my parents are from Guatemala, and I grew up in. I was born in Los Angeles, and yeah, so I grew up in a very traditional household, and so that's true for many Latinas. They're very traditional, historically speaking. Right, you might have some. It might be different now when we talk about modern Western women. When I went to university, I went to Berkeley. I remember living in the dorms, and I had a girlfriend. And hold on, give me a second here. I had a girlfriend, and she was very traditional, and all my family thought I was gonna marry her, and they just. Right, I mean, just the way she was, very, very traditional. She would take care of me, and I mean, it was just very apparent. And at that time, I wasn't interested in marriage. And I'll tell you guys right now why. When I was in the Marine Corps, I remember turning 19 and thinking, oh my God, do I need to be married? And we'll get back to the girlfriend from Berkeley. We'll get back to that. But yeah, I mean, I wondered if I had to be married right at a young age. And what I did was something, I would say it was something clever that I asked my colleagues who were older than me. I asked them, hey, is it a good idea to get married? I thought all of them would say, get married as soon as possible. It's like the greatest thing. To my surprise, many of them said, don't get married, or get married in your late 20s, in your mid 30s, in your mid 40s. And yes, some of them said, don't get married at all. So I was shocked that not one person said, get married. Right? We'll explore why that was. That'll be for another video. But that stayed with me. And so I told myself, I said, hey, look, I'm going to get married when I'm in my mid 30s. Now I'm 48 years old now, so I didn't get married at 35. But that era, I think that was a good move on my part, not to get married at an early age. I'm not suggesting that you should get married at an early age, or you should get married at a later age. That's I don't want to get into that because everyone has a different story, right? So, but for me, it was great that I didn't marry in my 20s or in my 30s. So going back to when I was at the university, living in the dorms, and for the most part, when you think about dorms, the dormitories, you think about people crunched up in a small room, and that was actually true. At Berkeley, I think they had rooms for 3 people, rooms for 4 people. I mean, yeah, it was like bunk beds. I remember that. It reminded me of the military living on a ship. I mean, people are just stacked on top of each other. It was crazy. But for some reason, I got it. I was entered into a lottery for the best room, and my friend Nate at the time, we're still friends. We won, so we were put in a suite. So it was like the first floor, at the first level. It was a suite, and we had, yeah, it was great, 2 levels, and we had a bath, our own, yeah, own kitchen. I mean, it was great. And so my girlfriend, she would cook for me sometimes. I mean, cafeteria food was great, but she would cook for me sometimes. And I mean, I would say, hey, look, my mom cooks this for me. And she would take the time and study the recipe, and she would cook. She would, yeah. It felt like I was back home. So in that sense, it was great. I can't say that Latina women are not traditional in that sense. Many of them are. I also had white girlfriends, and yeah, it was a different experience. One girl couldn't cook. I remember that specifically. She could not cook at all, and so that was kind of awkward. And she was like in her late 20s. As far as Russian girls, my fiance, she definitely knows how to cook, and I remember she told me, she said, I should probably put this in closer. She said, she told me once that her mother, when she was young, taught her how to cook, and the mother said, hey, one day you'll appreciate why I'm teaching you how to cook. And that's true. And right, because compared to modern Western women who feel entitled to a high value man, that's not the same with Russian women. They don't feel that they are entitled, and there's reasons for that. In other words, they have to compete, right? They have to be fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, and submissive. That's what a high value man wants. Okay, but in the West, it's different. I remember at the university, yeah, I was in a class, and the professor, he was Latino. He was like, yeah, the traditional woman that needs to stop. And I was like, whoa, like they wanna, right? You see, the thing about modern Western women is that it's ingrained in them that they are entitled to this man, and society pushes that on us, right? There's been a breakdown of the family. Let's see now. There's several events that took place in the 1960s. You had the introduction of the birth control pill. You had the war on poverty. Right, that was the plan. That was the legislative plan, the executive plan. Yeah, it was government involved all over the place, and that was what Lyndon B. Johnson started. War on poverty, and that incentivized women to not be right in a marital household. So being a single parent, that's incentivized economically. So, and many times the government is the baby daddy. So think about that. And then you also had a second wave of feminism. That's okay. Feminism has to be distinguished. You just can't say feminism because the original feminism, they fought for suffrage, and I actually believe in that. If you say, hey, look, are women entitled to vote? That would make me a feminist because I believe that women should be entitled to vote. But now what started in the 50s and the 60s, you had radical feminism. And there was this one person, her name was, I don't know if she's still alive, Gloria Steinem. And she definitely pushed for radical feminism. And that involved limiting women's options by degrading a woman who wanted to be a housewife. So it wasn't about women's choice. It was about women entering the workforce. And it was discovered later that she was actually sponsored by the CIA. So that modern feminism, the radical feminism, the second wave after that, that's right. It's pushed down by the government. So that's something bizarre. But one thing you don't really see is the impact of the social media. Like people don't really talk about that. And so if you compare the 1950s in Russia and USA, both countries, they they appreciated the nuclear family, father, mother, children. But then, right, like I said, in the 60s, the United States diverged from that. And so you started seeing all these shows that are like pro woman and anti men. For example, Donahue, let's see, Sally Jesse Raphael, Oprah Winfrey, and even modern days, you have Harvey. What's that guy's name? Steve Harvey. And yeah, pretty much their whole thing is, hey, woman, you deserve a high value man. But they don't say, woman, you need to do this, you need to do that. They don't say you need to be fit, feminine, friendly, submissive, cooperative. They don't say that. They just say you deserve him. He's gonna come to you. You have to manifest him, right? So Russian women don't feel that there's not that push like in the Russia that pushes the woman to be strong and independent, right? You don't see that here. You have traditional values, but let's see what some women think, because it was asked. They were asked about this. Give me a second. I'm gonna share my screen here. Let's see now. I do also want to give credit to the person. Let's see now. I do want to give credit to the person. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. Who is this? Eli from, I think I'm saying it right. Eli from Russia. I don't know, but let's look at this video. And let's see the questions. I hope you guys can read the questions.
В твоей жизни когда-нибудь
Do you
были
think
ситуации, когда ты чувствовала
women in Russia are
дискриминацию
discriminated
просто
in
потому, что
any
ты
way?
девушка?
Папа там говорит, что типа вот мы должны там готовить, убирать, стирать, а мужики только зарабатывают деньги. Ну, я вот это не считаю правильным, потому что мужчина должен тоже помогать в семье. Вот.
So you see there, that's typical of many Russian women. They come from families where the father and mother says, hey, look, you gotta learn how to cook, you gotta clean. That's gonna be expected of you. Let's continue.
Ну, мне родители говорят, что несмотря на то, что ты должна как бы быть хранительницей очага, ты все равно должна развиваться, потому что, ну и я так считаю, что если ты живешь с мужем, и он тебя полностью обеспечивает, то ты начинаешь как-то деградировать из-за того, что нет этого развития, и у вас становятся разные интересы. Мне кажется, все равно нужно как бы чем-то заниматься, развиваться.
Yeah, so she's saying, hey, look, you gotta have some kind of skill in some way. And the reason she's saying that is because there's no guarantee that she's going to get a high value man. Like I said, Russian women don't feel entitled to a high value man. They know that they have to compete for him. So that's another thing too, that there's some kind of I guess some kind of myth that women in the West, modern women, they're expected to clean, to be domesticated, right? To take care of the home. But that's very rare in the West because of inflation, well, many reasons. But now it's a luxury. If a woman wants to just stay home and take care of the kids, I mean, as many women are seeing now, right, that Prince Charming is not coming. When they hit the wall, Prince Charming is not there, right? So they're realizing that when it's already too late, hey, he's not coming. But what I mean to say is that now it's a privilege for the woman to stay home, and a lot of that has to do with inflation. But yeah, let's keep going.
чтобы быть на плаву.
На самом деле у меня постоянно почему-то так. У меня как-то бабушка всегда говорила то, что девушка это хранительница очага, а мужчина должен зарабатывать. И поэтому, как минимум в семье меня это сопровождает постоянно.
В твоей жизни когда-нибудь были ситуации?
Yeah, so she said something there, right? The role of the couple, right? Of the spouse, of the husband, the wife. So when it comes down to it, the man is the provider, and the woman, she nurtures the home, right? That's a setup that works as far as upbringing a child, that having a father and a mother in a household, right? That is not dysfunctional, right? I mean, that's the best way to maximize the success of a child. Okay, so and I mean that works. Like even in when you talk about like looking at something like dancing, salsa dancing, right? There's someone that leads, and usually it's the man, right? So there's a role, and traditional families. If you want to find a wife a partner, right? Maybe you don't want to get married, but you do want to be in such a relationship. Maybe you're not ready for marriage. But if you just want to be in a relationship that's traditional, and then it's always a good option to leave the United States and be a passport bro. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Until soon.